Hey everyone, Paul Gale Network back once again, this time with video part 2 for The Legend of Zelda Master Sword from Proplica and Bandai Namco, because I put the two AA batteries in and I'm excited to hear everything with you for the first time. Now I do know what it sounds like when it's powered on, but everything else is going to be a first. So let's first hit this A button, and then this is B and this is C. So that's pretty cool. Okay, now to my understanding, A is going to cycle through music from the Legend of Zelda series. Classic. The Legend of Zelda. You can imagine yourself as Link. Just having an adventure in your backyard, in the mountains, in the forest. I like it. Dang, that's cool. Let's go next. So hitting A once will stop it, I guess. Ah, and The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Which is the 16-bit sprite in the Legend of Zelda pool, although the color scheme of Link there is from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. That's pretty awesome though. Okay, and then stops it. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Although we should be walking left-handed Link right now. Although Link didn't have the Master Sword in that game, but that's okay. This is my first time hearing all of these tunes through this Master Sword. Of course, I've heard the songs countless times over the years, but oh man, it's so cool. I'm gonna have so much fun with this. Gosh, I might even jump in the pool with it. Well, keeping it dry. I could get wet, whatever. All right, let's go next. Let's go next. Ah, yes. Ah, my shirt. My favorite game of all time for 2 decades. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I was a Legend of Zelda fan before Ocarina of Time came out, but Ocarina of Time came out when I was 15 years old in 1998 and just made me an absolutely tremendous fan of the franchise for life. And that was the motivation behind the world's first The Legend of Zelda themed pool. You know, I used the 16-bit look of Link in terms of mosaic pieces, the structure of the pixel art, but his color scheme is from Ocarina of Time. This is cool. This is beautiful. Let's see what's next. Oh, it's so fitting. You know what? I just gotta go in the water a little bit because we're dealing with Wind Waker here. And Link, looking on. I love Wind Waker. That water's cold, by the way. It's gotta be like low 40s. Not that cold. I've been in lower. Gosh. Hot shot! Iconic. Wind Waker. Amazing game. Okay, next up. Oh, dang, dude. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. With the introduction of Fi, or Fi. The first Legend of Zelda game with fully orchestrated music. I remember going to the first Legend of Zelda concert in Los Angeles, gosh, back in 2011, I want to say 14 years ago. And that was fantastic. And I've been to a couple since, including in 2017, right before Nintendo Switch came out, and probably one in between. Yeah, probably 2 or 3 total. But beautiful game, beautiful music. I love it. Okay, let's see. We're getting into modern era, so I'm gonna guess Breath of the Wild is next. It starts off a little bit more gentle, a little bit quiet with that piano piece. Now, if you're wondering, what's my favorite, I'll poke myself in the ear, what's my favorite Legend of Zelda game? It's actually Breath of the Wild. Ocarina of Time held that spot for 20 years, but in 2018, after I really thought about it for a while and was playing Breath of the Wild for a good year at that point, I finally decided, yeah, it's time to give the title over of favorite Zelda game ever, and more importantly, kind of, favorite game ever to Breath of the Wild. It took the mantle finally from Ocarina of Time. It took a while for me to make that decision, but after a year of playing the game, I was like, you know what? Yeah, it did everything I needed a Zelda game to do and impress me, and everything a game should do in captivating you and giving you that totally magical feeling all over again. Something not as easily done when you're an adult as in your youth. You know, we have nostalgia to the past. We are living in the present, especially as an adult. You've lived more life, and when more years go on, yeah, you keep thinking back to yesterdecade, not just yesteryear. But Breath of the Wild finally did it for me, so yeah. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, I love it. So that means it's got to be Tears of the Kingdom next. Starts off a little bit quiet with that cryptic. And it'll pick up more and more. Little pieces here and there, piano hitting. Soaring. Dang. Oh, I love it. This is one of the best pieces ever in a Zelda game. In so many ways, Tears of the Kingdom is Breath of the Wild plus, you know, better graphics, more terrain to explore, verticality in sky and in depths. But there are some different gameplay elements, you know, in the champions and how you navigate in menu operations, in attachments to arrows and bombs and, you know, your abilities, freezing time, building up inertia, that kind of stuff. That they are two very different games, as similar as they are. So Breath of the Wild actually is my favorite of the two, despite Tears having more categories of what it does to improve on in a open air, open world Legend of Zelda game. But, you know, stories are different and enough different gameplay things that, yeah, I still give the edge to Breath of the Wild. And also impact factor that Breath of the Wild obviously gets. All right, let's see what's next. Should go back to Legend of Zelda. Okay, cool. So that's what pushing A does, which is this top button. B goes backwards, and then, okay, like that. Okay, so that's that. Now C just repeats whatever song you last had. So if you want to cycle through forward and go back to the original Zelda, and you're like, I just want to hear that one again, instead of going backwards or forwards, you'd hit C. Okay, let's stop that. Now, here's something cool. I showed this in the first unboxing video, and that is when you pop this off right here, you've got option 2, which is what we were just on. Go back to the middle. And then option 1 has got that classic, iconic, music. You scroll back down to middle to go off, and then 2, and you hear something else that's pretty familiar, right? And we put this back on. Let's try C first. Something familiar. Splendid. taking the Master Sword out of the stone which it had its slumber. And we go B. Flurry Rush and A. And A. Okay. So, once again, that Master Sword in its sheath, or in its stone, I should say. Sha! Za! Sha! Oh, can you imagine how cool that's going to be in the movie? I love it. And B, hold it down and activate Flurry Rush. Cha, cha, cha. And of course, A. So this is really cool. And then we could go back, turn it off. It did say that it also goes into hibernation mode. So like if you didn't turn it off by hitting the middle, it'll just go off after X amount of minutes if you just left it on mode 1 or mode 2. But there you go. There's part 2 to this video. And I gotta say, that was a lot of fun. I think I had even more fun with the batteries in than the initial unboxing, because this is something that my real steel Master Sword doesn't have or do, and my, you know, plastic toyish ones obviously don't do either. Yeah, definitely added more worth to the $200 investment. So in my opinion, worth it that much more. All right, let me know what you think of this unboxing video, and thanks again for watching. PGN signing out. Bye.